Hello everybody and welcome to the QListWidget talk. Today we're going to use a useful widget called QListWidget to display the conclusions from the inference kernel. And QListWidget provides a list view based in items. And imagine the lists that where we can add different elements by reference to QListWidget items. This gives certain flexibility to show. For example, we can put icons, change the background color, and so on. As a good information is that Q objects can have as many children as we wish, and they can be either embedded or in the parent or not. In this case, the QListWidget is embedded in the QStakeWidget conclusion base. So let's get started. In our last video, we learned how to connect the buttons clicks for a custom slot. In this case, it was the ask button, and that is the button in the middle. And we haven't defined the conclusion page yet, but when ask button is clicked, it will restart the knowledge base, return to the cover, and start over again. We need to guarantee that there is no item from other inference process when we restart this cover and this knowledge base. Therefore, we need to clean the list. To clean the list, we need to use a clean item method as a normal member function. Well, you might ask, what are we going to clear? Indeed, the QListWidget is missed. We haven't defined it yet, and so it's a good idea to move to the conclusion and check the private and at the declaration that is just. First, to avoid overhead or calling header definitions in the header, we can use forward declaration. This is only possible if the object is a pointer. And remember that the forward declaration is a promise that it exists. And if we'll use this object, we need to refer to its library in the implementation, the .cpp file. And this is the unique member, is appointed to a QListWidget. We're going to create two public functions. This is the clear item, and we're going to also define a set items. We're not going to talk about this function. Let's set. And also we're going to need define a signal to handle the functionality every time the conclusion was clicked in the list widget, and the string holds the item name. In this case, we'll move to the signal. Lastly, we're going to create two slots when a conclusion is inserted and when an item had received a double click. We're going to catch those events. Now we are able to move to the implementation. And in this case we're going to need some headers, and as I was explaining before, we need to define those forward declaration, and I'm doing right here. And those are abstractions that for all the items that are capable to be shown in the QListWidget. We're talking about the QListWidget item. So let's code the clean item function. Great. And it's pretty much straightforward. That's it. So now we are able to move to the CE view and finish this part where as far as the QListWidget is private, you need an access function from the conclusion page. And that's it, the clear items. It's not that important. Now, the conclusion is the ideal part to give the aspect of a conclusion widget, and to do so we need to use QLayout. Basically, this widget will be composed by a QLabel and the QList underneath, plus the global buttons from the CE view. Those aren't part of the conclusion. So we must move here. We have the label already. I'm going to parent the QListWidget with the conclusion widget. Now let's define the layout to encapsulate our previously created widget. We're just going to add the widgets as we did before in previous videos. And title. Sorry. And don't forget to set the layout to make the widgets appear correctly. And the last part to continue with the conclusion is to create a connection to the items click. On that double click, we're going to catch the events whenever the clients double click an item from the QListWidget. And in this function, we need to get the text of the QWidget, and even more, it's necessary to give a format that comes from the inference kernel, because the slot that will catch this information think that they are getting it from the inference kernel.
Ok, está bien. Entonces, se busca ahorita lo que ya está en la combinación por las piedras en color rojo y el blanco caído.
It's pretty much straightforward. To call replace. the result. A single parameter is the original. The last part is emit the conclusion clicked. And if you are clear, you notice that we had to trigger a signal from a slot, and this approach can cause cascade codes. And the last thing that I want to show is the easiness to add items to the QListWidget. And on insert conclusion, we're going to insert add item by doing that instance and call add item function from the QListWidget. And we only need to create a QListWidget. And the funny part is here in add item. So that's it. Thank you, and visit our web page and social media. See you soon.